we started thinking of what would be an engaging event on Zoom. And we realized that you do want to give value, you do want to give content, but there is something about kind of switching from like how is that different from a webinar where you're just not just sitting and kind of multitasking and hearing something in the background and there are slides and it's more of a lecture style event. And we decided that we are going to build a sandwich. And by making the sandwich, we have content in the middle. And we start off the event with warm welcomes and with a cheers and talking a little bit about the winery or the cheesemakers or whatever it is that we're setting to our prospects at the time.
So this is the bread.
This is the bread. This is one piece of the bread. Yes.
Or the lettuce if you're gluten-free.
Whatever works. And then we transition into the content. So some of our events, the wine tasting portion is very short. And for some of them, it's the bread is thicker. And then we switch into our content, which could be a community discussion, could be a big panda welcome and introduction, could be a quick demo. And then we go back to the second piece of the bread, which would be finishing off the second bottle of wine or the rest of the cheese or another beer or the cocktail or whatever it is you're sending us, Kelly, with Purple Cork.
And then you also need to make sure that your audience is engaged, and it can be a little bit awkward at times, but you want people to get on camera. You want people to come off mute. You want them to engage as if they were in real life. So quick little tips that are very unseen is right at the top of the event, we'll open it up and ask people to rename their name on Zoom to, Karina Owens at Gong. That way everybody knows who you are when you're speaking or in a Zoom chat. Also, we just ask you guys to come off camera and have a little toast with us. Bonus points is that you then have an image to share with your entire team to show them how engaged and what a success the event was.
So smart.
Well, one of the things that I really appreciated, and I know the rest of the team appreciated, is that when we decided to do a more engaging, interactive format, we really broke it down into just the tasting and just a breakout room of 25 minutes. And I think one of the things that was good that we chose to do was to have you, Purple Quirk, and Barrel Brothers do what you do best and kick off the event and lead the event
and drink beer
and do a great tasting and get everybody excited and get everybody to interact and turn their cameras on and enjoy themselves.
Although I'm so curious, and I always get asked, what the heck do you talk about in these breakout rooms?
I think it's a common question, right? That was a question I asked my marketing team is like, so what do we do in these breakout sessions? Like, do I just sit there, sip a wine and crack a joke or two? Which, I mean, I do on every call that I have with my customers. It's kind of part of who I am. But I think with these breakout rooms, what's really important is just to be you, right? Don't put on a facade or, start switching the sales voice, right? Talking differently. Just be you. Just really have that conversation with that customer. We definitely talk about what they learned from the wine and how they enjoy it. And if it's their favorite one they've had so far, right? We talk about rapport, really just anything about their family life, their dynamic. I want to get to know them as a person and hear them out. And because of that, it's actually interesting that through a transition of just talking about them, they will actually open up and ask questions about you. And they'll ask questions about your organization and your product and your feature. It almost happens very natural and very organic. I don't really have to force it. Now, of course, in every situation, it's different people. So there are some scenarios where I just ask them questions like, hey, I know you joined this event. It's been great. It's been fun. Out of curiosity, though, where are you with, I work with Okta. Where are you with Okta? Any questions there? What's your thoughts? How do you feel about the organization? How do you feel about the actual service that we've been providing to you so far? And really just understanding how do they think of us from just a personal level, but also from a professional level.
You can always, it's so funny after a year plus of doing this, like everyone's always a little quiet at first. Like we have to encourage people to turn cameras on and like people are a little shy. And then we do a breakout session. So after, 5-7 minutes of the first tasting, we go into a breakout session. Typically we break the room into two, and I lead a session and our CMO leads the other session. And that's like our networking time. And we have like kind of a script set of questions that we've found are the most impactful each event. So we kind of have like a script that we go through, but we'll edit it depending on registration. So if we have like a pretty heavy like revenue operations group, like I'll change the questions I ask to kind of get people talking. And that first breakout session will kind of get a feel for like, are people going to be talkative? Like, how is this going to go? And then we come back out of the breakout rooms. We do our second tasting, which is my favorite, because then I feel like we get people like a little loosened up. It's like their second tasting and you just see people kind of open up more. And then we actually leave usually everyone in one room after that. And we kind of pick what was the most, I guess, impactful topic. So the one we felt like people got the most excited about. And then we have the whole group discuss. And honestly, that question changes every time. It's so funny how some groups I'll ask one question that did so well the last event and we get nothing. And then like, it'll be totally different the next time. We'll like spark conversation with people. So we stay in the room all together. And then at the very, very end, we invite people to stay on for a demo. So we only leave like 5 minutes. Everything before that is just wine, networking, no qualified pushes. And the last 5 minutes, we say like, hey, if anyone needs to leave, feel free to hop. But if you want to see and have a demo, we have one of our solutions engineerings on the call and they'll take you through a demo. And bless, our SEs are like the best in the business. And they just give these like killer 5-minute demos and just give people that like taste of qualified.
And you always send them wine. Smart.
And we always send them wine. And it's so funny, by the end, the questions we get, I'm like, you've been wanting to ask these the whole time. You just needed like 2 glasses of wine to really open up and ask those questions.
What we make sure we do is plug a sneak subject matter expert into all the breakout rooms. I think we had maybe 2 or 3 to start asking questions, getting people to engage, talking about the product or specific pain points that folks are having. So we wanted to make sure that we are leveraging these events as really middle, bottom of the funnel activities where we're trying to understand what are the pain points for these prospects. How do we answer that? Which is why we did a product demo as well.
We really let our technology experts talk about what is happening in the market and really lead the others in the room to talk about their experiences. And so it became this just group of peers, almost like friends, talking over a glass of wine. And really for us, it was beneficial because we get an insight into what's going on in their organization, what pain points they have, but they really are just really enjoying talking about what they're going through, what they're looking to build, what has worked, what hasn't worked, what their idea of real time is. These are all things that they've clearly been wanting to discuss in a group environment. And for us, it's beneficial to obviously hear that as well. And I think they were really happy to hear from Hazelcast as well, because we do have some really amazing technology experts within our company who are very well known and actually travel the world doing speaking sessions. And so having them on the line and having them be a part of the discussion, I think was equally important.
It ended up just being a couple of our target accounts, which for us was perfect. That's exactly who we wanted on there. Our top target accounts, some of our best customers who were able to go on and honestly gave better commentary than we could have ever scripted in just a free-flowing environment. And it was interesting in the sense that our sales team actually took a step back and let other people drive the conversation and drive the event. And just seeing our customers and our prospects engage with each other and talk about their experiences and their problems and troubleshoot each other's challenges was really interesting for our teams to see. And actually, our event ended up running close to 45 minutes over on a weeknight at 9 o'clock at night. And they were still going. Like nobody wanted to get off the call.
Amazing.